Welcome back to the channel, and today we are back with the Suzuki Grand Vitara. So a little while back I was involved in a fender bender and I haven't repaired the car ever since. So I decided while we're still waiting for the engine to come back from the shop, let's rather deal with this fender and see how far we get. So let's start stripping it off. So at this point I'm thinking, okay, so all the bolts are out and it's a good time to just remove the fender, but it was too early. There's something else that is holding it back, so I'm trying to figure out what that could be. So I'm checking behind the fender if there's any bolt holding it back, checking underneath, and also making sure that my headlight doesn't fall and break because it's expensive to buy a new one. So I'm trying to figure out what is holding this thing back. So after wrestling with it for a while, I noticed that there are two plastic tabs that are holding the fender liner into the fender. And of course I tried with a screwdriver, that didn't work. Then with the help of my trim tool remover, then I was able to remove those clips, and the fender was quite loose and it's almost out, but there's something else that's holding it back at the bottom. So let me have a look. Okay, so it's ready to come out now. Then obviously you have to drop off the bonnet and then wrestle it out one last time. Then successfully I was able to remove the fender and we are good to go. The main reason why I wanted to remove this fender from the car was so that I can check if the damage is through to the body of the car or the frame, or is it just the fender. So it turns out it is just the fender, which is good news for me. So now we'll do our best to make sure that I repair this fender and see if I can get it back to spec, well, almost OEM. So now it's hammer time. Well, turns out my panel beating skills aren't too bad. I mean, looking at where the fender was and where it is now, it's not there yet, but it's getting there slowly but surely. Hopefully we'll get that line back and we'll get it to almost OEM. So let's keep hammering and see if we can get it back to spec. So at this point I'm test fitting the fender back to the car to see if all the holes are aligning and to see if all the clips are sitting where they're supposed to. It's a bit of a tricky situation, and this is the most important process, because if the holes are not aligning, then the gaps will also be not aligned. So it's critical that I make sure that I check all the holes, I check all the tabs, everything that's supposed to be tightened back to the car. So the one on the windshield is fine, and the ones in the front, they seem to be okay, and I'm just test fitting to ensure that that tab is actually sitting where it's supposed to. It's a bit of a tricky one, but we did it. So now it's back to fastening, putting all the 10mm bolts and putting it back together permanently now. And this is it. The fender is permanently back on the car now, so it's not looking too bad. The only thing that's left now is a little bit of bondo, a little bit of sanding, and some paint. So currently everything is lining up, all the gaps are lining up to OEM spec. Everything else is 100%. Look at the top, the gaps are aligning correctly as they should. Yeah, the only thing left now is to get rid of this rush, sand it down, get some bondo and get it painted, and then should be good as new. So not too bad for my panel beating skills. So the next bit now would be to start putting in some bondo and some paint, and it should be back to normal. So this is it. The right hand side is actually not too far off to the left hand side compared to the one that I just repaired, so it's not looking bad at all. The hood or the bonnet is sitting nicely, and the gaps are aligning correctly, left compared to right. So this is looking good actually, not too bad at all. So I'll put the car back together as soon as the engine comes in, and we'll finish everything. So see you then.